Hello, and welcome back to a new season of the Premier League and also Cheap Seats. So, welcome back to the 2023-2024 Premier League season, but also it means that's the 2023-24 edition of Cheap Seats. This is the episode a day before the Premier League starts, which means we're going to be going to the gang. We've got the guys back. We're going to be talking to them about what they expect for their teams, what they expect to see in the new season. This is where you predict Harry Kane to score probably one goal, then go to Bayern Munich, or score no goals and then leave. This is the show where you realize that Declan Rice might just be a flop and it might be undercooked. You know, that rice that's undercooked, you never know. Still a little bit wet. This is where you realize that Erik ten Hag bought the wrong striker. Maybe he did think that Højlund is close to Haaland. So yeah, and this is the show where you realize that Chelsea might just Chelsea do. Yeah. So welcome back. We're back for the new season. We're so excited about this. And if you want to follow us on X, not on Twitter, you can follow all the guys'
Good save.
Twitter handles there on X. Actually, X handles.
X handles. It's stupid.
It's
That's
weird,
the word you're
but
looking
anyway,
for.
that
Stupid.
thing that Elon Musk does. So if you want to chat to us and talk to us about that, please do, as always, subscribe to the One World Sports Radio channel where we're on. And yeah, let's get going. So at the beginning of every season, we do an expectations and a predictions pod so we can hold people accountable. We can always roll back the tape, or you can roll back the tape. The rest of us will just be like, well, you said this on the first weekend. What's going on now? So that's why we do it. And we try to set a baseline for expectations. So we know when guys are going through the most, you'll be like, but you did say that you were not going to make Europa, that it was a reset year and this was it. And yeah, so that's what expectations are. But it also brings optimism for us, the Arsenal fans. We've got a trophy already. So hoping that maybe. So that's what it is.
All important.
Yeah, look, Community Shield is super important. The fifth trophy in this whole thing. So the question we're asking today is, what will make a successful season? We're going to go around the room, get guys going, but essentially that's what it is. So I'm going to ask each of you when I go to you how you're doing and everything else, and we're going to get into that as we go. We've got quite a lot to talk about. So I'm going to start with Man City, but I'm going to go with Cyrus. Cyrus, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been too long. Although weirdly, it feels as if there was no off season, right? Like it feels as if we've gone straight into the season has just come back. I think with the preseason friendlies happening, it doesn't feel like we've died slowly and painfully. We were just sort of in limbo.
The great thing is that soccer players are now emulating my work schedule, so they actually don't go on leave. They take 2 weeks off and then they get back to work, and so it's like a 12-month thing now. It's no longer
you can't stop making money. That's basically it. And I mean, as the Saudis have showed us, money never sleeps. So I think there's a whole bunch to talk about. But I am super happy, and this offseason's been good to Chelsea, bar Nkunku's injury.
Yeah, it seems like it. We're going to get to Chelsea probably at the end.
Right at the end.
I'm going in order of the log. So all the teams
descending order.
All the teams between Spurs and Chelsea, I do apologize. We'd like to talk about you, but yeah, Chelsea spent.
There are no representatives.
Yes. So we're going to talk about the defending champions, Manchester City. They won the treble last year. What would make a successful season, Cyrus, for Man City? What's their benchmark?
That's a very, very good question, because I think even without having won the treble last season, how City define success is primarily winning the Premier League and then trying their damnedest to win the Champions League. Well, they finally won the Champions League last season, and now we don't have to ask that question, will they ever? They've done it. So it's then the question of, do they have the hunger to try and retain both trophies? And I think that's what's really interesting, because when you look at what's happened with City over the last couple of months, losing Ilkay Gundogan to Barcelona, they feel like as if they've reached a plateau, or not a plateau, a peak. And that peak has finally, all the things they've been chasing have been caught. And it's a bit like people ask the question, what does Wile E. Coyote do after he catches Roadrunner? What does Gargamel do after he finally has a Smurf? Well, go for another one. So it's one of those where you're just like, okay, so how do you maintain? How do you really keep that hunger going, especially since it feels like it's now expected? So success would be defined by retaining the Premier League, at least at the very least, having pushing whoever eventually wins the championship all the way, and then getting deep in the Champions League. Whether they win another cup or not, I don't think it's immaterial. If City won the FA Cup and didn't win the league or the Champions League, they'd kind of feel as if it was a bit of a down year for them.
Okay. That's actually, I think, how I see it. But they've lost Mahrez, because Gary Neville was speaking earlier the week, and he was saying that after they won the treble, they had a down year. So he's expecting the down year. But I don't think Pep wants a down year. I think the way Pep does it is that the next big and better thing. But
no one wants a down year.
Nobody does.
Let's be honest.
I think Spurs might, but we'll get to that.
We'll see.
This is not. It's like the Premier League draft. It only happens in fantasy football. Somebody needs to tell Spurs. Like Chelsea last season. You think we were trying for a draft pick? This is not the way to do it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Okay, the second team, and I'll talk about this team, and I'll just ask guys what they think. So, the team that finished second, that had the worst 10 final game weeks in history of the Premier League, Arsenal. They choked. That I can give you. And now we got a dog. Got a dog to help the team through when they lose. Win is great. I love win, but it's rough out there. For me, with everything that they've done this season, over the past couple of seasons, you have to win a trophy. I want the Premier League, and based on what's happened over the past 5 years, that is very tough. But if you can come out with an FA Cup, God, if you come with a Champions League, even a Champions League final or like a semi-final, without a trophy, it would feel like a trophy. I'm going back to Wenger days, but essentially that would be it, right? I want a deep run in the Champions League. I want you to win either Carabao Cup, which nobody cares about, but since they've brought in David Raya, it seems like they actually do.
Calm down.
Or FA Cup, or the big one. But stop it, AB. It's not Arsenal's to lose. So what do you think, AB, at this point in time, since you say it's Arsenal's to lose?
Guys, it was Arsenal's to lose last year. It's Arsenal's to lose this year. No. In all seriousness, though, Arsenal need to just focus on one thing, and they need to beat Man City twice. If you can beat City twice, you have proven to yourself that you can go and win the league. Because out of the 6 games they lost to City twice, they lost to United, okay, then they lost to, I don't know, who was it? Everton, Forest, and some
it was always some random fodder there.
But I think the City losses were so hurtful to that Arsenal team because they lost by like 3-4 goals or something like that. I think that's what, for me, this Arsenal team is lacking, is like, yes, you want to win the league, and that's all well and good, but you need to beat that team who you want to take it from.
There's the mental side of it, right? There is the mental side of it, because you're chasing them down, or rather you're in front of them, and they're this boogeyman behind you. And then when they come and they give you a absolutely biggest clap of your life, you're like, okay, maybe we can't beat these guys. And to AB's point, that's really important. But I think there's more to it, though, AB. I think this season, with all the football Arsenal have to play, they have to have their eyes on so many different prizes that beating City in the league is important, but they have to make sure they beat everyone else too, and that will be the benchmark.
But they can, though. They've proven they can beat United, they can beat Chelsea, they can beat Spurs, they can beat Liverpool.
So my thing is, with all the balls up in the air, last year Mikel dropped everyone trying to chase the Premier League. Now he's got a bigger squad, and he says he has a bigger squad. So then, in that case, you then need to be able to not only beat City, but also be competitive. And don't throw away the FA Cup. Don't throw away the Carabao Cup for what it's worth. Don't even throw away the Champions League. Or I don't think we'll get to Europa, but we have to get out of that group. We have to get out of the Champions League group. But if we somehow fall into Europa, you have to win Europa. You can't do anything else. And so for me, it's that. It's you need to give the fan base and the management, the Kroenkes, something to hold on to. There needs to be a piece of silverware that's meaningful, not Community Shield, something meaningful to show that you can. It's either you're a cup coach or you're a league coach, and I think this is the season we found out what Mikel has, because he now has a squad that any coach in the world can take to a championship.
And Paul, using Arsenal's history, you also have a financial coach who will be top four is a must. Get us deep into competitions because that earns us the most money. So there's another kind of coach you left out there. But I do agree with you in the sense that it is a win or bust space that Arsenal are now in. The outlay that they've made, and as much as Arsenal fans will always rebuff this and say, oh, well, it's not as much as whoever, and yes, it is a lot of money, but you can't expect us to do stuff. Why are you so afraid to say we spent money in order to try and win things? That's what you're basically doing. Yeah. And if so, once you've said that, then turn around and say, then we should be doing these things. Because if you've bought the right players, you should be challenging on all fronts. And at the amounts that have been spent, that's the thing. You also haven't necessarily let go of people either. There's a lot of guys who are supposed to have left who are still hanging around, looking at you, Granit Xhaka. And
you mean he's gone?
He's gone.
His ghost is still there. They need to exercise that place.
Okay. I think let's move on to the next team. AB, how you doing?
Let me just say one thing. One thing about Arsenal. I disagree with everything you said. I think they are struggling to finish top four this season. Last year was the absolute best they could have done. They were the second best team in the league, and I think that next season, or this season starting tomorrow, they're no longer the second best team.
They'll do a Spurs. He'd know, because that's exactly what Spurs did.
Honestly, I don't think. Arsenal's still a good squad, yes, but I still don't think that they are going to have as good a season upcoming as what they had previously. The time to do it was last time. Haven't done it. I think Rice is a good acquisition. Havertz doesn't make sense. Raya stinks of political nuances. There's something weird about their loan fee, and then something's not for me. And obviously, I hate Arsenal, but I don't think they'll do as well as
Dean. It smells like jealousy, but I love it. I love your take.
I must say, I love this take too.
Wahid, how you doing?
Wahid.
No, sorry, AB. Sorry.
That's a racism. That's a racism.
But we must say, we do miss you, Wahid.
We do. And I'm going to ask about Manchester United, so I have to ask you how you're doing first.
Wow. Look, I mean, unlike you guys who had a break, as a United fan, everyone knows that we don't play friendlies, so I didn't have a break.
You're a gargantuan club.
3 except for ours.
You're a gargantuan club.
Exactly, guys. Look, I mean, I'm a little bit worried about this season because Eric has made some big calls. He let go Dave.
So you don't like Andre Onana?
For a keeper who's wild, like he's not Edwin van der Sar, right? He's a loose cannon. He's a maverick. Whether or not that will pay off is yet to be seen.
He's that guy in the club who
Champions League
walks in
final
and all the
material.
girls go to. Don't you want that?
I mean, we have enough footballers who are attracting women. It's okay. I just want someone stable. Okay. I want a chubby guy who's an audit manager who is earning decent money. He's not going to cheat on you. He's too lazy to cheat.
You had that guy and you told him, no, we're fine. We're not interested in your solidity. We're not interested in the fact that you can save us games.
Gave him a contract and then pulled it and then gave him a new one and then
they would turn up. Yeah, but he, then you like pass the ball to Dave and then he's like looking out. Okay, anyway, that's the goalkeeper.
You basically watched the movie Staying Alive and you wanted John Travolta because you wanted somebody who was good with his feet. You didn't care what he did with the rest of himself.
It's gonna be a fun.
I mean, I like what we've done in the transfer market from the sense that we're letting go of Deadwood. It's about time. Guys like Alex Telles, Baye's apparently out the way. Going soon. Harry Maguire's almost gone. Eric is doing well there. He's obviously overpaying, like every Man United manager will. It is what it is. Like nothing's new under the sun. But for me, what success looks like as a United fan, I think top 4 is a success again. United. It's been way too long since United have gone back-to-back top 4s. And given the strength of City and Arsenal, even Liverpool, I believe, are strong now. They've spent some money.
Ooh, I have a take on that team.
Yeah, look, I think for me, top 4 and trying to challenge in a cup is good and I say that because we're all in the same cup competitions as City. Like you can't just say, oh no, I want to go win the FA Cup. We tried. We went to the FA Cup final. We played really well against City, but they beat us in the first 10 seconds, and it's done. Like. Everything is City's to lose right now. So I just want us to be there. Like, I don't want us to get knocked out of the Carabao early or the FA Cup early. I don't want us to be relegated to Europa or even not even in. I'd rather us not even be in Europa, and then at least we can focus on one competition just to secure it for next year. So that's all I want. I know we're spending mad money, but we're also trying to comply with fair play, so it's okay.
Rasmus Højlund, 7 goals last season, or 9 goals last season, 75 million pounds. Yeah. How do you feel?
I'm excited about him. He's a 21-year-old. That's all I care about. Like, he's young. It's the first time we're signing a young
Don't
player.
say that's all you care about.
That's all I care about, guys.
Nice. What more? Young boys.
Young boys burn, bud. Yeah. Young boys burn.
That's all I care about. Like, I mean, Ten Hag, this could be Ten Hag's Harry Maguire signing. Like, Ole signed Harry Maguire, paid all that money for him. And,
Look, United have signed some Jembas in the past.
We signed a homeless guy, guys. This is
you did. You actually did.
That's let the record state AB has told the truth. AB has told the truth, and not just for peanuts either. Like, some real money was spent. But AB, I want to ask this question because I think that as much as you seem to be the sort of on the voice of reason side of Man United, which is not often the take that we get to hear. The rest of the fan base look at this and say, surely we need to be flying higher than just top 4. There needs to be an expectation that we're pushing the big fellas all the way because you are a big fellas gargantuan club, TM. But I mean, is there more to it than just that? Than just saying we just want to be part of the party? We're happy to be here. I mean, do the signings say that? Do the signings say this is? I mean, when I look at the spend. It's not like United have just spent, little bits of money, and this is over the last couple of years. I'm looking at the Sanchos, the Antonys, the Casemiros. Yes, he came on a huge transfer. No, all of the outlay. Surely it has to be more than just myself and Dean saying, "Oh, we're top 4." that's going to be great for us. Yes, we'll get to Chelsea later. I must say, top
Surely
4, that'll be
it's
great for us.
chasing Manchester City.
Can't.
It's
No,
You can.
If you're Arsenal, yes, this team is 14 points behind Man City last season.
we were 30 plus points by Man City the season before this, the last one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I still don't believe United are one of the top 3 biggest clubs in England. In the sense
mean
of
in terms of
What do
ability?
you need?
like ability, performance, consistency. I think that's what United lack right now, is this consistency. Like, I still think Liverpool, even though yes, they had a really bad season, they still pulled it back. They were 4 points away from Champions League. I think Liverpool have better individual players than United. United don't have a 30-goal a season player. We don't.
Well, you could have paid £100 million and you could have gotten him.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He's
want
going
to
to Germany, unless he says no.
Well, we don't know.
Not going
Right?
to Germany.
But I still think he's staying, and Dean's not getting his McLaren. But I just don't think United are a big club anymore. And I think maybe the fan base is deluded, or maybe I'm deluded. One of us is definitely deluded, though. I just think that there's a lot broken in United, from ownership all the way down to how we recruit players, to how we sign players.
So I've got a question for you. So when do we see the green and yellow scarves? Is it first day of the season? Is it like 3 or 4 games in?
It's a good question, because the Glazers have meant to have sold, right? I think maybe after the Mason Greenwood decision.
When's that happening?
I don't know. It has to happen before the season, right? Which is Monday for us. Like, we're not even such. That's how small of a team we are. We're playing on Monday, guys.
No. You own Monday. It's not about
Monday.
You own Monday. It's
yes,
like nobody
Monday's
is
your...
going to have anything else to tune on. No, you can't be saying that. It's not like you're relegated there. Monday's a good day to have all the attention on you.
So, AB, quick one. The Arsenal story of last year does not inspire you as Manchester United, as a bigger club than Arsenal, to say we can do what they've done and be even better because we've got all of these 19 trophies behind us in this histoil. Does it not like say, but why can't we be as good
it's
as
too
them
soon under Eric, right? He's had 1 year. Mikel last year was manager for what, 3 years before?
3 years.
Yeah, in 2 years' time, I'll have a different feeling, as long as Eric stays. But flip, guys, I don't know if he's gonna like.
So
this is a big season for him, because he's made big calls. He spent a lot of money. If we are struggling by Christmas, I'm worried for Eric Ten Hag.
Okay,
but we'll see.
The biggest if in United season, and this is where it all hangs for me, is whether Mount can play or whether Mount can't play. If Mount starts playing well in that midfield 3 of Casemiro, him and Bruno, I think they'll fire. If he starts doing what he's done in preseason so far and scuffing shots when it's open goal, United are going to have the same season. That's
in Mount's defense, that pass was behind him.
Oh. He doesn't play for your club anymore, Cyrus. You don't have to.
Do you want to take him back, Cyrus? I think there might be refunds.
We'll use that money to keep us warm. We'll burn it on the fines that we're going to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I just want to go to Spurs, and then we'll go to Chelsea, then we'll talk about Newcastle and Liverpool after this. Dean, it's been a weird summer for you. Your coach is Australian. We don't know him. Harry Kane is going to be proving that he actually doesn't have...
Before you even ask a question, is that the chant? Your coach is Australian.
I think it's national the other Australia coach. So let's just put some respect on his name.
It's actually the other one. It's who the F are you? But anyway.
No, you can't do that because they sang that to Wenger and then he showed them. So
I think that's what Dean's trying to do. And that's my question, right? Is this reverse Wenger? And what are we expecting from this season?
I mean, obviously I'm always going to be optimistic, but for me, the one thing that is very clear is that we have passed our punching above the weight coaches. Mm-hmm. The Mourinho's and Conte's are no longer what we were looking for. We got
I'm glad you got it to this point.
Yeah. So I had to go on YouTube just to hear someone say his name, just so I knew how to pronounce my new coach's name. Like, it was
Lost the
wild, but at the
confidence.
same time, I think there's a lot of Spurs fans that are actually more sort of excited for this season than they have been for the past 5. The brand of football that Ange Postecoglou plays is very similar to what a City plays, because he was part of the City group. He coached the team in Melbourne that was part of the City group. Pep had a bit of a mentorship with him. So the way that he plays is a lot more sort of reminiscent of what they do. And I'm not trying to say that Spurs are going to be City, but it's an exciting type of football instead of a defensive type of football that we've seen for the last 3-4 years. So in terms of expectations, I think there's been a lot of sort of Spurs fans that are like, well, we're not going to win a trophy anyway. At least let's look kind of positive. If we're not going to win, like if we're going to lose anyway, let's just try and look sexy.
Do it in style.
Exactly. So I think that's the sort of feeling we're going in. Like no one's expecting too much, and maybe that's why it's so positive. I do think the summer though has been fairly positive, well, fairly good for us, to be honest. Like signing James Maddison, really good signing for us. I think it's a replacement for Eriksen that we've been waiting for 6-7 years almost, that we've now finally signed. Still centre backs is where we need, but we signed Mickey van der Ven, young 22-year-old. He looks really quick. He looks solid. I can't say I watched a lot of Wolfsburg, but from what I've heard, he's pretty good. And Manuel Solomon, there's a couple other guys in there. Destiny Aduji is going to light this league up. None of you guys are ready. Okay. So I'm positive. I'm positive. But look, like let's just I'll address it. Like,
tell us more. Tell us more.
Is Destiny going to start over Reguilon?
Destiny is first choice. Destiny's
is
first
it?
choice. Yeah.
Okay,
Destiny,
that's for FPL.
FPL Destiny's first choice. And Emerson Royale is also first choice. Pedro Porro is not going to start either. So, big thing that we're going to wait to see this season is whether obviously Kane stays or goes. If Kane stays, top 4, I think for us. 4th, honestly. If he leaves,
that's shock. That's what this look is.
No, I honestly do, because I think the and I know none of you guys believe it, and that's why like I'm quite chilled with being under the radar. Like no one expects it from Spurs, but it's fun. Like the type of football we're playing
under the radar.
It's
the fact that you guys are going to lose the first 4 games of the season, and just because guys are going to have to get through, your team's going to get Total Football Tottenham right, because the way I see Ange ball is attack. It's Paul Dolezal. If you know South African football.
Wow.
Attack. It's all you will do. And I think you like it as Spurs fans because you haven't had a coach who's done that in the past 3.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
The issue is that defense. And I think you need a window to upgrade that defense from getting guys from YouTube to actually getting proper defenders.
And I hear what you're saying, and I think Spurs are one more centre back that we need. And I am praying
Eric Dyer.
Harry Maguire.
No, we need.
No, I'm saying Eric Dyer.
No, Eric Dyer
can't play the system.
Eric Dyer is not in there. So it's Christian Romero and Mickey van der Ven will be the starting centre backs. Davies will come in as sort of touch base for van der Ven, but then Laporte is who we need. That's who we need to go after Laporte.
I agree with you there. I disagree with some of the other statements, but I think
everything else I said was facts. You can't disagree with that.
But okay,
the sky's blue
let's
and
go
Spurs
through
for.
I'd like to see a world in which that level of competitiveness in Spurs is a reality. But the reality of last season that hasn't necessarily been fixed is everything to do with your defense, specifically around Hugo Lloris as your goalkeeper, who's still sitting there waiting to find out what's going to happen with him. Your central defense.
He's not going to start. He's gone.
No,
we've already told him you're gone.
But who replaces him?
Vicario.
But what I'm saying is, why? Like, who is this guy? Right? This is YouTube FC again. You know.
No, he's the youngest. He's the youngest up and coming goalkeeper in Italy. You guys need to do your Serie A research.
No. I have actually seen him. I'm talking about him in terms of performance. You can't be aiming for top 4 and then saying YouTube our keeper. That's never a good combination.
Or our centre back.
Exactly. And this is where there's a lot of things that need to just fall into place for Spurs in order for that to happen. Højbjerg was central to what was happening at Spurs last season. So what does your team look like now? Who's in that engine room to give you the faith that you are definitely going to be pushing? The Bissouma that we saw last season.
Bissouma barely played last season. So he has a starting four. We got Bakaria at back. We got Emerson Royal, Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven, and Destiny Adoji. You got Bissouma playing at that number 6. You got Madison at 8. You got Bentancur on the other side, and then you got Kane Kulusevski's son. Boom.
So you still have to deal with Lo Celso and Ndombele.
And Ndombele's leaving.
What about Pedro Porro? You just signed him.
Pedro Porro he's a good player, but he can't defend as strong as what we need him to. And in this system, you need one fullback that's going to invert. And for me, it's Destiny. It's not Pedro Porro. Okay. I'm giving you guys all the FPL insights as well. So,
so Dean, at the end of the season, if you don't make top 4, you will be disappointed.
If we don't make top 4 or at least challenge for top 4, I will be disappointed. 100%.
What does challenging for top 4 look like? You can challenge for top 4 and finish 13th like Chelsea.
No.
We stopped challenging for top 4 way before that, but
we need to be 6th or 5th with
European
a month and a half to go. Yeah, we have to finish
European places
at a minimum. Okay, cool. Cyrus,
yes,
Chelsea. Talk to me. I wanted to do Chelsea last, but we'll talk about Liverpool and Newcastle after this, right? You spent so much. I think it's close to $1 billion now. It's like unbelievable. So many young kids we have never seen. And I don't even think they have YouTube accounts for them. I like Axel Disasi. I really like Axel Disasi. But the thing with Chelsea, but it's weird because I didn't know I've never known what Chelsea's starting 11 was over the past couple of seasons, but I always know that it was very strong. I don't even know the 11 that's going to start on Sunday, and I'm very worried. Are you worried like the rest of us?
No, not at all, actually. And I'll be totally honest with you. Initially, I was, and the whole thing around the midfield stuff, and we'll get to that just now. But the reality is, when I watched this team in preseason, I've never given preseason much in terms of how much sway it will have, but jeepers, this preseason changed a lot for me because the last 5 years of Chelsea football have been sideways passes back to the keeper, and no forward progression, and hoping that somebody runs. Oh my goodness, Jorginho at the heart of it all. Pochettino has already changed that completely, much to the kind of football that Spurs used to play underneath him. And potentially with better pieces in that system than Spurs had at the time. Obviously without the Harry Kane and Heung-min Son and Dele Alli. But I'm looking at and that's the fulcrum of what your attack was at that stage. But looking at who Chelsea have in the team right now, there's a heck of a lot of change. But you've also got a Levi Colwill who played quite a lot at Brighton last season, so he's got Premier League experience. He's going to be integral. Chelsea's new captain and Reece James, we know who he is. We know what he can do. He's going to be important. Ben Chilwell as the left back, you know that he's going to be an integral part of this team. So that already, and Thiago Silva. So if you're looking at it, your back 4, that's potentially it.
40-year-old Thiago Silva.
Yeah. But let me tell you something. That's why you then have the other guys who are behind him, the Desasis, the what have you. If you can get a great first game out of Thiago Silva against Liverpool, you don't have to ride him as hard, in the other games from there. So I'm not too worried about him being the only centre back. Kepa, whether he stays or goes with all of this interest from other clubs, is really crazy. But he's at least the goalkeeper we've seen. We know what he is and who he is. So it is what it is. It's the Hugo Lloris. Yes, good shot stopper. What the heck is happening with the rest of his game? Blah, 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 blah. It's then as we start to move forward where things start to get really interesting because Enzo Fernandez will need somebody to really assist him to be a lot freer, to play the kind of football that he needs to in order to be as expansive. Hence the Caicedo talks. And also why they've just looked at, I think, what's his name? Taylor... from Leeds. Yeah, Tyler Adams from
Tyler
Leeds.
Adams.
Yeah, Tyler Adams
Yes,
from
they
Leeds.
did. I
Yeah,
love
it's pretty
him.
much
I think
pretty much
great.
done. I think he's going to be a great stopper in that space. So allowing somebody like Enzo Fernandez to go forward, even if we play Conor Gallagher there right now, it's at least another body who can. There's a lot of stuff happening at Chelsea I don't quite get why they're selling everybody, but I realize as well that you'll get the most money for the English talent, except for Callum Hudson-Odoi, who apparently can go for 4 million and nobody's interested. But it's the stuff going forward that I really am most excited for, because the Nkunku injury is a massive blow.
Yeah.
But as much as I ripped Dean for Mickey van der Ven, Nicholas Jackson is going to be
you can't come at me for Mickey van der Ven and then say
I can't till I actually started. So Villarreal and Man have if you don't have Nicholas Jackson in your FPL, you are literally doing yourself a disservice.
You guys overlooked Samuel Chukwueze and you went for Nicholas Jackson.
So I'll tell you what's really interesting, because Chukwueze as he's a winger. Chukwueze is a winger. Nicholas Jackson has a lot more about him, and this might be. I found this comparison to be pretty accurate with him. He plays like a young Aubameyang, on the shoulder of the defense, being able to get in behind with a heck of a lot of pace, very strong on the ball, has an eye for a pass. There's a lot that this kid has that will make him a superstar if everything works in the way that I expect it to. And his link-up play with the likes of Nkunku and Mudryk, for instance, will be really central. You'll be very surprised by what you see from Nicholas Jackson this season.
Okay. Liverpool, you've been warned.
No. But I agree with what you're saying. So I agree with everything you're saying. My only thing is, and I think that Nkunku in the 10 and Jackson in the 9 in preseason was looking unreal. And I do think some of Jackson's threat is now sort of diminished because Nkunku's not.
Can Mudryk not go into that role?
No, you don't even want. Not even. I would still. So even at that 10, let's say you don't play Conor Gallagher as your 6, he can play as a 10. Not at the level that Nkunku would have given you, but there's also Carney Chukwuemeka, who's also played there before.
But that's who they're saying they're going to play as 10.
And I think he's got a really, really good ability on the ball. It's what happens around them. The Noni Maduekes, the Mykhailo Mudryks, I'm going to spit when I say his name, the Raheem Sterlings. Cheapers.
The one thing is about your season, and obviously I don't like Poch anymore, but Poch is not afraid to play youth. I think that's exactly what Chelsea have in abundance. Exactly that. Levi Colwill is going to have plenty of game time in that Chelsea lineup. He's going to get the best of Mudryk. He's going to get the best of a lot of guys. So there's a lot to look forward to. You.
So answer the question: what does a good season look like?
Look, top 4 is the bare minimum as in terms of huge success. I think Chelsea could potentially be one of the teams that go fairly deep in the cups. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a fairly long Carabao Cup run, depending on who they draw. Our cup draws last season were horrendous. I think we drew City twice in Carabao and in FA Cup. And once you do that, I mean, it's game over, right?
Yeah.
So I think that depending on the draws, I think you'll see Chelsea go on fairly extensive cup runs. Okay. Obviously, we don't have European football to look for. And I think that's the reason why I think Chelsea will be targeting top 4 and potentially even trying to be third in the league is the lack of European football, the ability to get the most out of these young players and relatively unknown players as well. There's not a lot of pressure on these guys. They just have to be better than last season. And when you look at it in that space, who can go wrong? If they do sign Caicedo, that changes a heck of a lot of what the expectations around Chelsea are, because I think he frees up Enzo Fernandez to be the player that you'd expect. But like I said, I'm not averse to the Tyler Adams who can be there, tackle people. Both Caicedo and Tyler Adams are going to get cards. If you want to place bets on people getting cards this season, these guys are picking them up left, right, and center. But also another player to look out for is Armando Broja, who is still working his way back from injury, and I think he'll get some game time as well.
Okay.
And Lukaku's just gonna
go into the sunset.
No, he's so there's a few players who they're already on the plane is fully fueled. They are on their way out. Lukaku, Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Within the next day or two, I expect to see a lot of those guys.
Someone has to buy them though. That's the problem.
Well, Ziyech, Ajax have already said they have him back, so it might be cut price deals for some of them. Ziyech might end up going to Saudi anyway because they might say, okay, fine, we won't take the fee that we're expecting, or we'll take the we've got to put certain agreements into the contract. Callum is probably on his way out, and then there's going to be a lot of loans for youngsters. But the Lukaku deal is the one that's really a sticker, because I think more than anything, as Lukaku's mouth has managed to cause him more issues, the options that he had as his first choice options in Juve, Inter, are swiftly diminishing, and the likelihood is that he'll probably say, okay, fine, let me go to Saudi for a year, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, well, the Saudi option's always open for guys who you can't get off, and like Cedric Suarez, you're probably playing for Al Nassr very soon. Let's talk Liverpool, and then we'll just touch on Newcastle, then we'll just go to predictions. For me, with Liverpool, it's that midfield.
Yep.
That front line looks amazing. That defense, but it looks like you can make it work. It's that midfield. I know Thiago's injured. I know Bajcetic, who was the youngster, is injured. They signed, I'm going to call him Zabo. Yeah.
Something.
Yes. And Szoboszlai, whatever his name is, who is pretty good. McAllister's there. But it's still, I don't have a lot of confidence, right? And I'm going to go to AB with this one. What does Liverpool, is it just get back into the top three, try chase Man City again? Or is it, let's maybe try, top four still fine, just make sure you're still in Europe and get back into the Champions League?
I think Liverpool are a weird team. I think they can get back into the top four very easily and start challenging. They had a shocker of a start last season, right? But they're a confidence team. So once Mo and Darwin and Cody Gakpo joined mid-season, once they start gelling, right, they won't stop. You can score 2 goals against Liverpool, they'll come back and put 5 past you. Trust me, I know really well how Liverpool can be. So I wouldn't sleep on Liverpool, hey. I think they could be a dark horse this season, especially just given
need one more midfielder.
Yes, that's the
but
that's
they're
the
trying to
thing.
sign him.
Look, here's the thing,
Martial
right?
Cassé.
They're doing the Arsene Wenger thing, right? It's Southampton won 50 million. They're like, okay, we'll give you 48. And like, just pay.
pay
Everyone's
the
paid, right? Arsenal paid, Manchester United paid, Spurs haven't paid, Chelsea had been paid. So just pay, And I think if they get Lavia, then they can say that they can challenge because they'll wait for Thiago to get better. Bajcetic is a great midfielder. And then you get a Liverpool that can recreate the Liverpool of old. And now Trent's going to move into midfield. So, they are trying things. It's just, for me, is the Jurgen Klopp method and message to those players who are still there still relevant? Because it is gegenpress, it is high intensity, it is what it is. And someone actually said the other day that Liverpool doesn't have a midfield. Liverpool have guys who just transition the ball in between. They don't move the ball side to side like Cyrus complains about. They literally are just like, okay, defense through, here you go, offense, go do your thing forwards. So
don't waste time in the middle.
Yes. Yeah, and they for me are a dark horse, but without that like 6/8 who's going to move it around and be able to direct the traffic to Mo or Cody or Darwin, just like Henderson did and Thiago's done. It's for me, it lives on that. But I think if you're a Liverpool fan and you don't come out with Champions League football next season, it's an issue. But I do think they can make a run in Europa, and for me, that's something that if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd say, actually, go get me that trophy.
Focus on it, 100%.
Yeah. Another team, Newcastle, they didn't do what we expected them to do. Like, Man City went for the big name players and they threw money. They went for guys, not necessarily YouTube FC, but it seemed quite, reasonable.
Sandro
Harvey
Tonali.
Barnes.
Tonali is a huge signing.
Tonali is
It's a huge
proper
signing,
player,
but
though.
If Tonali's
He
at
is.
Liverpool, like they are top 3.
Yeah.
So with that, what is Newcastle's expectation? Maintain top 4.
That would be success right there.
Yeah, they have to
Get out of the
also,
Champions League group stages.
That's the other thing. The earnings in the Champions League are as important as trying to win the trophy. And I think that Newcastle will have their struggles this season because they don't necessarily have a massive squad, but they are a lot better in key areas. Tonali and Guimaraes is going to be a fantastic combination. But I also feel as if we're forgetting that guys like Gordon.
Anthony Gordon.
He didn't play a lot.
Anthony Gordon. Exactly. They'll be like new signings for them. And if they can get Callum Wilson to stay fit, he's a superb player, an absolutely superb player. In fact, even Alexander Isak just came into the league last season. They managed to get something out of Miguel Almiron. I mean, jeepers, if ever there was like the Zamas there in Newcastle, somebody found a seam of gold in Almiron. And they're just digging in places you wouldn't expect.
And Joe Linton as a defensive midfielder.
Unbelievable. I think that Newcastle will do fairly well, and getting to top 4 again would be superb for them. I think what they would love is to challenge for a trophy. Maybe not the league, but FA Cup final would be incredible for that team and for the entire city of Newcastle. I just want to take a step back to the Liverpool thing because I don't know if we've made enough noise about them. And I think that it's really critical. They, like Spurs and Chelsea, had bad seasons last season. Liverpool were horrendous for portions of the season, found their stride and were pushing. This season, Cody Gakpo and Darwin Núñez have no excuses for the level of poor performances that we saw from them at times. And this is my FPL brain working here, I think Darwin Núñez is going to weigh in with a lot more goals this season than last season. It's easy to laugh at people the first time. We're going to be laughing on the other side of our faces come the end of the season. I have a feeling that they're going to do something and will potentially be second or third next season.
Okay, guys. We've reached that time.
Quickly, on Newcastle, for me, flop of the season. 6th at best, honestly.
I don't think the hangover is
we're already getting there. Okay, but let's go.
Honestly, just on the thing, I think Sandro Tonali he's a great player, but I don't think he's gonna work at Newcastle. I think he didn't really want to go. There was all those stories and things like that. Swapping Milan for Newcastle, yes, Champions
the
League,
Lukaku to Chelsea.
Yeah,
it gives me that sort of feeling. I just don't think it's going to work that well. They'll do well, but I don't think they'll be as great.
Okay, so we're gonna go around the screen. I'm gonna give a category quickly. Who you think is gonna be whatever it is.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Yes. Okay. Champion. Cyrus, who's your champion?
Man
City.
City.
Have to do the champion.
Yeah. although okay, I say Man City. Head says Man City. I'm gonna say something. And heart says Chelsea all the way. I've got a sneaking suspicion we're gonna see somebody insane challenge for the championship this season.
Luton Town.
Ange Ball.
Sheffield United.
Liverpool.
Ooh, Sarah said it here. We recorded it. LeBron James of soccer. AB.
Oh shit! I need to change that.
Who's your champion pick?
Champion City, no question about it.
Okay.
Second is tough though. I don't know.
Yeah, it's City all the way. They're not gonna.
Okay. I'm going with my heart all the way. I have to. It has to be Arsenal. There's no way we got that close, and then
People have come close before and fallen off. To the City thing, and this was something I wish I'd said in that first portion. KDB is the be-all and end-all of anything good that happens with City, and he's not in a good place, guys.
Yeah, that's why I take Liverpool. But that's why I'm putting my team up there. What I saw on Sunday, yeah. Oh, no, not in preseason. They were fine in preseason.
when he came on, Kevin De Bruyne is Kevin De Bruyne, but
Yeah.
it's the other guys.
Okay, so you've said the champion, but who are the other top 4 teams? So Cyrus, who's going to fill out your top 4?
Okay, I haven't thought about it much, but here's my top 4. It will be City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
Leaving out United and Spurs. Ooh. AB, how's your top 4 look like?
I'm not sure about the order, but Arsenal will be there. I think United will be there. And I think Liverpool will get there over Chelsea in 5th.
Dean?
Shame. Sorry, Dean.
City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs.
Bring in North London, boy. Bring in North London. Mine is Arsenal, City, United, and Liverpool. I think Chelsea and Liverpool are going to be fighting for that. And it starts on Sunday. So, that game's really important, by the way. Okay. And then your surprise team, a team that could do a Newcastle or a Brighton like they did the previous team. What team are we looking at to surprise us?
I think we must all be looking at the same team here, right? Aston Villa.
Yes. They are making so many good moves.
Aston Villa.
Do you have a surprise team?
I think they'll avoid relegation, and credit to them with new manager. Well done to Spurs. Yeah, surprise of the season. I'm joking. I have no idea, guys.
Okay.
I don't know. I think Newcastle will not have that big of a hangover. I think they'll be top 6. So I think for me that's surprising.
Dean?
Yeah, Spurs. I like the way that
Ange Ball all the way.
I'm backing it. But I also, just from the guys that are coming up, I'm quite interested to see how Burnley play. Just to see.
Yes, they were my other side.
Yeah.
For
just the
surprise
guys
of
I'm
the season. I
interested
think
to see what comes.
I think like that Sunderberg signing, I was sitting there going, "Oh my word, you guys are insane." Okay, last one to go. Relegation. Who are the 3 teams going to be relegated? I'll start. Wolves, Sheffield, and Luton. You cannot fire a manager the week before the season starts and think it's fine. And then Sheffield's just giving Sunderberg to Burnley. Like, what the hell? But I think they just want the Premier League money and to go through the season with the least amount of cost as possible. But that's me. Cyrus, your 3 going down?
I think I agree with you totally. I think Wolves they've packed their bags.
There's the load shedding. That's
dreaded load shedding. But no, Wolves are definitely down. And I would say Luton. I think Luton are just too small a club. You know who'll be pushing Sheffield United all the way will be Nottingham Forest. Do they still have all the players they signed last season?
They do. They do.
Because, I mean, like everybody talked about Chelsea last season. Like, oh my God, how many players do you have? But I haven't seen a single Forest player leaving. And
I think they've signed players. More. They've signed Matt Turner.
They signed
they just keep signing.
But weren't a lot of them on like 1-year contracts? Like IU and stuff?
They may have, but
don't know.
Yeah. That was their problem last season. Yeah.
Just too many guys.
AB, who's going down?
Wolves, Luton, but I'm coming in with a controversial one. I just feel like they are so uninspiring.
He's gonna say West Ham.
No, not West Ham.
Everton.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
No one knows what they're doing.
But this is why they'll stay up, because the other teams, I think they are the best of the rest, as opposed to being good enough. Because they're a terrible team. There's not enough players there. Goodness, guys, sorry, you got to go to the Nottingham Forest on the Premier League website. Go and check out Forest squad. Under defenders, they've got 13 guys. Okay, it might be more. It's 4, 8, 12, 14, including Ola Aina, who they just signed. Midfielders, pretty much, 10 midfielders. And forwards, There's 7.
And none of them is priced less than 4 mil, which is nonsense.
Yeah. For FPL.
price them at 3.
Just so people know.
Yeah, just
FPL,
price
we're
them
not
at
priced
3.
at 4.
Yeah,
It's
so,
unbelievable.
yeah. Dean, who's going down for you?
Yeah, I think for me it was always Luton and Sheffield, but then I think there is going to be a bit of a battle for that 18th place, and for me it was West Ham. But I think now with the James Ward-Prowse signing and Harry Maguire, I think they might be okay.
They'll be better.
I think they'll be okay. Wolves are definitely there, if not there already. Bournemouth is another one which I'm a little bit touch and go because Clivert's
because they beat you.
Yeah. The Clifford signing is not a bad signing, and I see they just signed Alex Scott, which he's a really good midfielder from Bristol Rovers. So
YouTube
they
FC.
might be there. He's a Spurs fan, so that's fine. But yeah, I do think that 3 feels like the most sort of solidified.
I honestly think there'll be like 8 teams come like April who could go down. And
it's going to be close like last season relegation, I think.
Guys,
Yeah, and David Moyes, please do not sell Lucas Paqueta. Please fight.
For
Do not
110.
sell Paqueta. You are going to go down.
He's going to sell him for McTominay. It's amazing.
Yeah, and probably sign Harry Wilson from Fulham.
Fulham's another interesting surprise package team as well. They have
Mitrovic
done
is
under the
staying
radar
now.
thing.
Guys, if Raul Jimenez just sorts his head out, Fulham have got a world-class striker. Like, I love Raul Jimenez. But obviously the head injury.
Yes, it's going to be
hectic.
quite... Yeah. Okay, gents. That is it. Cyrus,
can I end with a hot take? Can we do hot
Yes.
takes of the season?
Okay. What's your hot take?
United fans are going to turn on Andre Onana faster than you can expect.
Dude.
And
By
I think
December, they're going to be like, get this guy out.
Already have turned on him. Follow Onana out of context on X. They've turned on him.
that's just a small fraction of your fan base.
Guys,
because
there's
in fact, here's another
that needs to be
hot
said
take.
about African players at Manchester United. There's something there. Like,
But it's not that. He is there. We mentioned it about De Gea. You've gone from stability to chaos, and you don't even realize it. And I think there's going to be a battle between who's a worse signing for United, Mount or Onana, in terms of the actual discussions. I think Mount's going to be fine, but I think Andre Onana is going to be at fault for a couple of goals, and it's going to be a killer.
It's going to be bad.
Okay.
When it gets bad, because he will make a mistake. He has to.
He got tripped on the weekend from halfway line.
Yeah, exactly.
He was taking a stroll.
Yes.
Guys.
What
When
was
that
he
happens, they will eat him.
doing? I know he's going to be eaten alive, and we will see it, and we're going to talk about it.
We will be
Money
there.
put him on fraud watch already. Who knows? That's what it is.
Fraud watch is like 4 weeks into the season, surely.
Anthony is on fraud watch.
Yeah, okay,
That's how.
fair. That's fair. Guys, that's fair.
But we're going to see Jadon Sancho as a false 9, so that's going to be fun.
Because our 21-year-old young striker has back
At
problems.
least Rashford's going to be there to bang in all those goals again.
Or make sandwiches, whichever one he feels like.
Okay, guys, let's close it out. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll be back next week. We're gonna do a date night drip episode hopefully next week, but we'll talk about it. But Cyrus, good luck for the weekend. You've got I don't know how you ended up with Liverpool on the first Sunday of the weekend. They should have given you some fodder like a West Ham or
Premier
something.
League need to keep the eyeballs on their teams. So
yeah. And to those who are playing on Monday, wish you all the best. We'll be back next week, and have a good time, good night, and le sale cacajizo.